Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap up.
Hello, everybody. Lovely to be here again. Another week, another exciting week in the market, actually. How are you, Lise?
I've been good. You've got to say that we're out live on YouTube. We're on
I was
X
getting
or
to it.
Twitter, and we are in the group with Getting Started in Crypto.com.
We are indeed, and we will be looking at Bitcoin and alts and all sorts, the usual. So thank you very much for joining us around the world, wherever you are. Yeah. And now I come on to your week, Lisa. How's it been?
Yeah, my week has been busy. So that's good though. We like busy weeks.
It's feeling slightly green, one would say.
It has been green. We've got a bit of a pull back, which was much needed. Can't even talk today. He's been so busy. So, yeah, so we're getting that pullback. I don't think it's going to be huge. So, you should be like buying, because we're going into October tomorrow.
October, of course. And you think that's a thing? You're gunning for it?
I am. I think we, start of the month, every month lately, we have a pullback. So I don't think that's out of the ordinary at the moment. But yeah, it's looking likely that we're going into October.
Now, earlier on in the office, you were comparing some old Bitcoin charts with current Bitcoin charts. Does that have any relevance to what you're about to tell us about Bitcoin, or was it just out of interest?
There is slightly different pattern, but we did, from this point in 2020. So, while the pattern's like slightly different, from this point in 2020 is when we went up. So we were sort of gradually going up. We got to about 11,000. We had a 30% pullback. We went back down to the 8, and then we slowly went up. So we are at that point now. We're not going to get those major fluctuations like we have seen previously. It's becoming more of a regulated market with the ETFs and that sort of thing. And it's going to be, like we just had the 6 months where we've been, sideways. That happened as well back in 2020. So we had, that major COVID sort of decline, and then we just went crazy, and then we went sideways for a long time. And then we broke out. So we are kind of running about a month sort of within that sort of period now, where we go into that major breakout. So we have got futures and options that are about to release in the next day or so. So that's going to be huge, likely just before this close. So let's jump into BTC, and I'm going to bring up a monthly chart because we've got a monthly close tomorrow. And as I was saying yesterday, this is not a bad candle, this one here. It was an engulfing candle. It's now had a bit of a pullback. But literally from this point, so this is 65, we could literally go to 73. That's an 8K candle. So at this point in the market in 2020, we got a 3K candle, which in comparison is probably about the same. Obviously back in 2020, we were at, 11, 12K. So, at that point we were at 8K. So a 3K candle is like about a 30% rise. That's not going to happen on BTC. Well, it could happen, but I doubt it. So I do see that being potentially this closing out on a really nice candle. And ideally that's what we want to see. We are looking really good on the stock, and that's the stock RSI. It's just about to cross on the monthly. Even before we do see these crosses, we do get this pullback on the MACD. We're getting that at the moment. So we've had pullback, and this should start to turn. So yeah, it's looking good. We've held the 21 EMA on the monthly, and that's a really strong sign. We're in this inverse head and shoulders at the moment. So that's one shoulder comes down. We're in the second shoulder. We've had that 50% pullback. The chart looks beautiful. So I'm seeing lots of people being really negative again, which usually means we go up. So, we want the shorts to build, so we get some bear tears. We like bear tears. I need to get some of those charts out again and get some rockets and magnets on the charts again, so you guys can all see what bear tears are, especially for the new people following me, because bear tears fuels basically the waves up. They are literally what makes the options. So, if you've got a short in the market, you have to buy to close that. So if you're getting liquidated, you're literally closing that. So with a long. So if there's lots of liquidations and it pushes up because we've got shorts building at the moment, we're going to see those candles push up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to see that candle within the next day when we get those options expire, which happens on the 1st.
Exciting, very promising indeed. Quite a few people on X and YouTube joining us, all very bullish. Look at that, send it to Valhalla. So
I love that show. So I love Vikings. So
Vikings,
it's just like watching my family, because Rollo, I'm actually related to him. So yes.
Well, you can use your Viking powers to send Bitcoin up, give it a great big green dildo. It does feel like it's almost time for you to become your chartist self with your lovely drawings.
I think I need to get some out there and get some, a bit of excitement, get my stories happening so people can understand what I'm seeing in the market. So
absolutely. A comment here on YouTube saying you will love Money Heist as well, which I think have we seen that Money Heist? It rings a bell.
Yeah, it does ring a bell. Is that the dubbed one? I don't know. There was one that was dubbed that I couldn't watch. So sometimes you turn on Netflix and they're like Bruce Lee and their mouth is moving, but they're like saying something else.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it is the dubbed one apparently, but hey, maybe it's worth giving a shot. Okay, so promising sign. All
right, let's move on. So I'm gonna turn into Nerdy Lisa, and let's have a look at the total crypto market cap.
Let's do it.
And we've had some nice momentum on this. We are still under this resistance. We need some more money to come in. Now we've had the biggest month since BTC ETFs commenced in inflows for BTC ETFs. So that's looking promising if that continues, because it's the perfect way for people, now that we're getting rate cuts, to pull into their investment. So this region hopefully will break out. So, falling wedge normally fairly good. Hopefully we get the breakout. We saw similar patterns on gold and on the S&P, and we did get breakouts there. So again, Bitcoin and total crypto market cap should be looking good, hopefully going into October and towards the end of the year. I would expect we get a larger pullback at the start of next year, January kind of thing, and then we push into the bull run heading through to sort of September, October, with our major pullbacks. So it could be a little bit different this time, who knows, but normally it's not. It's a 4-year cycle. So I digress. The only one that looks really ugly is ETH. But like every time I tell you guys this looks ugly, it goes up. So, at the moment we've got potentially a fourth wave pullback in this region, or this could be, an ABC and just like a really ugly bear flag. So, ETH could be sort of, channeling that it's in a bear. We've got the 200 MA coming with that resistance. So I would expect that we get to that region at least. That's just below the 3K mark. I would hope that we get to that 3K mark, just get people excited. But it's looking kind of ugly. But like I've said, if we go back to this pattern here, this was super ugly, went sideways for a little bit, and then have a look what we did. So similar thing happening. Hopefully, this is quite an extended pattern in this region. So rule of alternation means that this one will be a lot sharper and a lot swifter. So just having a look at this, like from this bottom on ETH, 164. So 164%, like that's huge. So every time we look at ETH and we go, okay, this is looking ugly, maybe just, take a little bit of a bite. That's what we are doing at GSIC at the moment. We've got our portfolio, which we are DCAing into every week for 12 weeks. So how many weeks are we in now? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, Josh?
Good question. I can work it out. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 weeks.
5 weeks. So we've got
2,
7 weeks to go.
5.
And by that,
Yeah,
we've had some, some really nice like green in that. So it's looking very green, and we're only like 5 weeks in. So ETH is one of the slow ones. We're still getting percentages. Obviously, the inflows haven't been so exciting in those ETFs as much as we expected, but the flow goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Solana to all the alts. So we've seen a nice run on some of the alts. So yeah, let's have a look. What have we got in alts?
Well, do you have, someone's also requested it, I was thinking about this as well, the total 3 up there. And also I did notice Solana, it might be worth, feels like it's up there with Bitcoin and Ethereum at the moment. So let's, if we can, have a quick look at those both. And
I don't think I've ever done total 3. I've got total 2. Oh no, hang on, I've got total 3 up there. So this is crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, which has already seen a breakout. So that's looking good. Alts are looking really, really good. So, this is in an uptrend as far as I'm concerned. It has breached the point basically where we get our pivot. So with Elliott waves, so that has breached that region, which would be 632. So it's above that. So that's a really strong sign. We now need to go our next. I haven't updated this chart, so our next rejection point is 732. So it will pull back at that point. So when we get to 732 on this chart, so this is total market total market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So when we get to that 732, that's going to be a strong resistance for alts, and that's when we're going to get those pullbacks. Probably a larger one at that point. And but then we're going to get continuation, because this is like looking really, really good at the moment. So so just let me make a copy. I'm going to have a look if there's, I think that's the total 3, but let's have a look. Ignore this, it's just going to open 2 charts. Yeah, I was in the right chart. So no, it's all good. Yeah, so that basically, yeah, it's looking good. We've still got all of this region up here to go before we do get that pullback. So ideally we'd like to break out, but I do think we're going to get, there's a pivot at that point at 732. Whales love pivots, so they'll normally sell at those points. So yeah, looking really good. And we're seeing that. We are literally seeing that with our alts at the moment, moving really strongly. So let's quickly jump into Solana. It is not moving fast. It's doing kind of like an ETH momentum at the moment. Solana has a pivot at 180. So this is going to be a pullback point. So 180 to 186. So that's also the 786 on this wave formation. Now, if this is an ABC, it's turning down at that point. So if it's an impulse, it's breaking out. So it'll still turn down at that point, but it's going to hold 162. So they're our key pivots on Solana. So we're at that point at the moment where, you know, we're looking likely to break out. So let me take some of this stuff off. You know, this was probably our bottom. We are looking like we are getting quite high on the stock. So that does mean that we've got a pullback in this section. The RSI is not overbought as yet. And the MACD is still expanding. So it's still looking good on the daily. This is purely just a pullback. So this wave likely may hold around this region, could pull back a little bit more to about 148. But, you know, at this point in the market, dips are for buying.
Excellent. Okay, then. Let's go for a quick advert break, and then we'll come back. And we've had a few requests for alts, Cardano, and so ADA is another one, Lise, and AEVO.
So what have we got? We've got SWI, SAY, Ondo, BB, TAO, and ADA.
And AEVO, AEVO.
Oh, AEVO. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but did you get Cardano as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then, so we'll have to whiz through though. Just before we go to the break there, Chinese pumped the market during the 1st to the 7th of October during their national holidays. That's a good point coming from YouTube. Thanks for that comment.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Lisa?
Lots of money coming in from Asia and China at the moment.
I believe they've reduced their rates of Republic Bank of China. I could be wrong there. I thought I saw something.
They have, like, but there's also, you know, we've got BRICS buying as well. So, you know, right, when the government starts buying, all of the people start buying. So it's normally a really good, strong sign. So yeah, it's looking really, really good at the moment.
All lining up. Cool. Right. Quick 30-second break and we'll be back. Excellent. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. Time for some alts, and we'll go super quickly through this, Lise. I will hand it straight over to you and let you do your magic.
All right, so let's go. SWI, SUI. Now, this one has been insanely crazy, and you want to have this in your portfolio long term. It's a really, really strong project. Now, since the bottom, which was only just in August, we've seen almost 300%, 288% rise on this one. Now, we still have two patterns. So if this is an ABC, we are done, and we're coming back down quite deep. But more than likely, as we saw with the total 3, they're looking really strong. So this is looking very cuppy, like, you know, potentially we could get a pullback here. So if you've got my, hang on, I'm just going to disappear out of, I didn't have it with me. Wait. Coming back in. Just running. This is live, as we can see. So if you jump into, I'm going to find it. Should have these pages open, ready for you. At the back of my book, you can learn all about what I talk about here. I've got all of the examples. Then we go into how a lot of the waves are measured. So you'll see me just put fibs on. Been doing this for a long time. But if you want to know how those fibs are done, there's some measurements there. So all in my book, and yeah, you'll find out. So book.
And we see the front cover. There we go.
Become a millionaire in a year. Grab it. All good bookstores, Amazon, everywhere. So, and ebook available as well. But so when we do this projection on SWE, I just want to show you something because it's so beautiful. It's like so perfect, and you know, looking so amazing. So we know our wave 1 is the 236. So we've come up to the 0.05. Now, potentially this 3 could continue. It could go up as high as the golden zone, which is the 618 to the 65. So this may continue up. It's just sitting. It hasn't broken the 0.5. So as soon as it breaks the 0.5, it's definitely going up, but it's not there yet. So if this is the top, it's a bit hard because it is very bullish. Then you know, the pullback is going to be just on this wave only. So when you're measuring a pullback and you just measure it on the one wave, you don't want to measure the whole thing because we don't have 5 waves as yet. So we're just measuring this one wave. This pullback was 236. That's a really bullish pullback. So this could essentially go up from this point, and it has, and it broke the high from this previous wave. So, but until we've broken that 0.5 that I just showed you, we might just consolidate in this region for a little bit more. So basically this might just sort of go ABC and then continue up at that point. It could even go, you know, down for that ABC or and a little bit lower. The 100 MA is sitting at the 382. So that's a strong possibility. This is only a 4-hour chart. When we sort of look at this range, we're looking in here. Our wave 1 sort of lines up with the golden zone, the 618. Doesn't mean it can't. It's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen, but it is super bullish and everyone wants to buy this. So likely it's going to hold higher. When we head to the daily, you know, this is a super new chart, as we can see. And a lot of these new patterns are showing like strong potentials. So when we head to the daily, our pivot is within this region. So if this is an ABC, this is going down from here. So, you know, this hasn't broken the pivot, this upper pivot as yet. So that is sitting at this point at 187. It has just hit there. So it needs to break that region to become like bullish. It does look like it is going to have a minor pullback, hopefully, in this region. When we're looking at this wave 1 high, that is sitting at the 200 and the 100, where potentially they're going to cross. So what we're looking for here So it does look like this is going to get some sort of pullback, whether that's bullish or not. So we want to see this cross up. So potentially this could come back to this region. So just this is one that it's going to be quite difficult to catch when it does move, but one to sort of just DCA into as it does pull back, because we don't know how deep this is going to be basically. Yeah, so but if it does break below that wave 1, then obviously that's going down deeper. We don't want that to happen. So yeah, so a bit of a pullback happening for that. One that I will be watching, one that I have been watching in GSIC, and I did post it on X the other day as well, just letting people know that it was about to pull back. We have got saved. So this is basically very, very new pattern again. So when we put it up to the weekly, we've just got a cross. So this is also just about to cross here on the 9 and 21 EMA on the weekly. So really, really strong sign. This stock is very, very overbought, but a stock indicator on the weekly will sit along this line for quite some time. So don't stress about that. We've got plenty of room here on the RSI, and this is huge. So, you know, that means that this has got huge momentum coming. The pivot on this one is at 81, so it's got plenty of room to go. Hopefully it breaks through that. This was 5 waves, and, you know, this has an ABC complete here. So this one, the sky's the limit. When we go back, I'm just going to bring this up to the weekly and just see what we've got happening there. Yeah, so we did get that cross on there. We still do have a lot of room to move. Don't just ignore this bearish like alert, because that will change as you know, these patterns, because they're so new. It does look like it could be bearish at the moment, but it you know, looking at that pivot, if it breaks through that pivot, we are off and running. So for me, out of the two, say SEI is a better pick. It just has a more distinct pattern, and you know, these EMAs are about to cross, so that looks really good. So any pullbacks in this region are going to be strong for this one. Super new pattern. We've just had an influx of new coins that have like really taken off over the last little bit. So this is Ondo. It dropped in January this year, so it's had a pullback. It's sitting at the golden zone. It's bounced at the golden zone. So potentially these patterns that we're seeing could be either bullish or bearish. I'd opt for more sort of bullish, just due to the fact that this is more, looks like what we call an Adam and Eve, where we get Adam, then we get Eve with her belly, and then we get the takeoff. So basically that's measured from this point. We take that wave there, and then we project it from there. So it should go up to that pivot there. So a pivot on this one is sitting at 1.18. So that's likely where we're going to hit that resistance on that total 3 as well. So we're going to have a little bit of sideways momentum. We're going to see a lot of these alts continue up and then hit those pivots, pull back. We're going to have a little bit of unknown for a little bit, and everyone's going to go, the sky's falling out of the market, and, you know, the bull run's over, and then we're going to continue. So that's how we do it. Yeah, because this is the part of the cycle that we're excited about. Okay. BBB, just 2 Bs. This is for Sadie in at the GSIC group. He has requested. And now this is like even newer. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, what can I see in this chart? We've got support of the 100 MA so far. Now this is a 4 hour, so I'm gonna take this up a little bit higher to the day, just to see if we can see sort of some momentum changing. We've got the 100 has just come in, and it's just sort of, it's playing with it at the moment. So that's going to show a little bit of momentum changing. So we've got the only thing on this daily, we've got a cross happening down on this MACD. So that does mean that we're going to get a larger pullback. So at the moment, it's holding the 100 and the 21 EMA, but not looking strong. It does look like it's starting to pull back. So ideally, anything here would need to hold around 32. That's going to be our wave one on this. This is the start here of our next wave up. So if that can hold, then potentially that's a really good signal. So you can see that the diagonal support is sitting around 346. So, you know, ideally we want to hold diagonal supports and then continue up. This is a you know, similar pattern to what we're seeing on everything. So, you know, it's a little bit too new to get any accuracy out of this one, unfortunately. So when we drop it right down to the hourly, this support does look quite good. And yeah, looking quite nice. So it's not looking absolutely ugly on the MACD on the lower time frames, but on the higher time frames, it does look like it's going to pull back a bit more.
Okay.
Whatever. Teo. No, this is one that Tenza that I mentioned last week that's been going crazy, and another one like Say and Sui that had done some really big profits in this region. So 266 since the bottom, which this V bottom was on the 5th of August. So we have got like a shallow Adam and Eve, very shallow, and come up. So on this wave here, we've just broken that 786. So that does mean that this is potentially going up. We've actually broken the pivot on this one as well. So this is a bullish pattern. So our pivot is down at this point. So back down at 413, that broke that pivot. Now, for people that want to get into this coin, it may pull back at this 786. I don't know if it's going to be massively huge, like pullback, because it potentially could have 5 waves, but I would say it's still going a little bit higher because it did have a break, just a wick just above that 786, which usually indicates we're still fairly bullish on this chart. So it's if that was our top there, it's pulled back to the 236, which again, like we saw on SWI, is a really bullish pullback on this, you know, on any alt at the moment. So because we have been so bullish, the 786 is predominantly where we do get a pullback. If it's getting a wave extension, it's going to the 0.9. So let's just put that one back. And the 0.9 there is 661. I'm just going to pull that down there. And then 236 on this chart is 820, and our 1618 is 1,000. So that's our potential. So if you are wanting to get in, dollar cost average, we started 5 weeks ago, but there's no time like the present to start getting into these trades and, you know, start getting your bags, your bull bags. That doesn't sound good, but if you're a reader of the Moon May, we had an article on there on how to build your bull bags. So jump into that as well. So we can see here that the 786 matches up with that 1.236. When we take it from the bottom of that, that's our 236 there. So as I was explaining, how to do my fib projections is all in the book here. become a millionaire in a year. So make sure you grab that. And then you'll understand what I'm doing here. It's all detailed. So yeah, so basically this is looking really good for a continuation. The overall 786 does give us a new high on this one as well, which likely to see it in the not too distant future. MACD looking really strong. So do you think we're going to get a little bit of consolidation in a lot of the alts at the moment before, you know, during the first week of October? Maybe not, as we heard from China bringing in lots of money with their week off. So, you know, don't listen to me. Could be going just straight up. We've had really, so far, really bullish corrections to the 236. So, you know, that could see a continuation. Let's jump into ADA. So ADA has been coming, you know, it's a bit boring. It's one of the more boring charts. You know, a lot of these older coins are being a bit boring. But as we go into the bull run, hopefully a lot of these teams are going to pick up and they're going to, you know, be putting out sort of updates and that sort of stuff. And then we're going to get excited about Cardano again and see what they're doing. So it's just trying to break this resistance. It's struggling a little bit. We do have the 100 MA sitting at 37,379. Likely the 100 and the 200 should cross. It has been quite choppy in this region. So let's drop it back to an hourly and see where we are. We've got supported the 200 here. So, and our hourly is showing that we're quite low and quite oversold, getting into those oversold regions on the RSI. So that's a good sign. Yeah, so we should see hopefully some momentum. So the pivot on ADA is at 3639. So stop losses under that region and, you know, DCA down to that point for ADA. So AEVO, similar. So as I've been saying, here we go. We've got the Adam and Eve on this pattern again. So we want to have a look at our pivot. Our pivot is at 4414. This wave here did break it, so that's a really strong sign. Next pivot up is 5691, and I'm going to bring that up to a daily. And let's have a look at this trend line. There we go. We have a little bit of resistance in this region. So we've got a trend line that pulls down from this previous wave, comes down in this region, and that's what's holding this back at the moment. Now, that doesn't mean that this won't break out. The easiest way for any chart to move over a resistance is sideways. So that makes me think that this chart is going to get a little bit of sideways movement before jumping in its green rocket and heading up. So it has got some really nice momentum. So when we look at a chart, we look at, you know, how it's sort of moving and what's happening with it. So I look for what is called alt curl. Now, that's just basically a curve. So we can see that we've got a curve here, which means this is potentially a slowish moving one. So, you know, this is, yeah, looks like we're going to get that sideways momentum, going to crawl along a bit, and then it's going to absolutely take off. So, yeah, looking good. Just needs to get over that resistance at the moment.
Have we got time very, very quickly for a couple more? Just come through, just for 30 seconds.
Gotta put my glasses back on.
Doc with hat. And there's a question about how we added FTM to the HODL portfolio. So what's the longer term targets on that? So FTM.
Okay. So WIF has just broken the pivot. So if you're in the group, I've been breaking this one down step by step at GSIC. So it's looking nice. So it's just hit the first target. So potentially, because it has broken up just by a little wick above that, it should continue up. To the next target is 2.966. It can get a wave extension at that point as well. So yeah, so for WIF, it's looking good. Now, this is a 4-hour. It's got a lot of bearish sort of RSI happening there. Let's have a look and see where we're going. MACD is just starting to curl. So this is going to be a little bit of, sort of sideways. The RSI here is coming just back down. So I'd say we're just going to get that touch. I think we're just, we're getting that sideways sort of feeling, on a few of these. So not too much to go on this one, actually. So just a little bit more of a dip, and then it's absolutely taking off. As I was explaining earlier, these the stock can go just twist sideways for quite some time. So basically that might just twist down, twist sort of like that way as it's sort of, curling upwards. Yeah, so dog with hat looks like it's got potentially a little bit of sideways or a little bit more down. So of a pullback. So we're going to look at just that wave only. We've hit the 236. The 382 is at 2.15. So that might be a good place to just have a few more orders. Because if China are buying, they like the meme coins, they love them. So, get into dog with hat, get into one I like is Popcat, get into Giga. What else is there that we've been trading? Pepe. Yeah, so many. What was the other one? I've lost my train
Just
of thought.
on FTM, just before we head off, because we've added that to our HODL portfolio, what is the longer term target or longer term targets?
All right, for that, I'm going to. So this one, obviously FTM is Ocean, FET, and no, that's the other one. Ignore me, that's FET, which is in a very similar pattern. So, if you look at this one, you can literally get an idea of what FET's doing as well. So yeah, FTM is Phantom. Sorry, getting them all mixed up. We've got a cross on the MACD on the weekly. So this is a really strong sign. We've broken the pivot. Now, potentially, this is wave one. This is hopefully our wave one of our third wave. So potentially we're going into that third wave very, very soon. So what that would look like is we should break the high there, 3.68. Next wave up there. So we've got projections here. And they do like to go to higher, much higher sometimes. So, this is going, depending on how much money we can get into the market, that's going to be the struggle with this cycle, just due to the fact that there has been a lot of restrictions putting money onto exchanges and the limits that you can put onto them at the moment. And, with countries like the UK, sort of you've got to let everyone know where that money comes from. Like your money's not your own money anymore, which is really, really annoying. So we're looking potentially at some big figures here, and I'm going to grab that. So we've got our 1, our 2, our 3, coming back down for our 4. and then our 5. Now this 5 could climb even higher, and this 3 could climb even higher. Now we saw that with Elrond when it changed e-gold last bull run, and now it's Multiverse X. So that one went 1,600% on one wave. It was massive for, you know, a coin like this. So potentially FTM could do that as well. So from this point on to here is 480. If we do get that sort of momentum that we saw in the last bull market, to that 618 here is 1,000%. So, you know, if that's our wave 3, we're going to get a very shallow pullback on this, and then we're going to get a wave 5 going up to like 11. So, you know, that's the absolute ultimate potential that we're going to get. But at the moment, so that's 1,700%, which is not out of the realm of possibility for a bull market and an alt, you know, of this stature. So yeah, that's nice. That's why we've added it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, we are going to have to wrap it up there. If there are any missed charts from the crew in getting started in crypto, drop it in the live chat. We will get around to it, I'm sure. Thanks otherwise to everyone for tuning in from X YouTube and of course GSIC. Any other last comments before we head off, Lise?
Yeah, keep an eye out on X. Make sure you're asking me questions on X if you're not in the group. And if you're not in the group, get in the group. Why are you not there? And it's like, so, but I'm more than happy to help. Make sure you stop by, say hello, say good morning. It's like, because the more that you talk to me on there, the more people can see me, because X have a new algorithm where if nobody talks to me, nobody sees me. So please like me.
There we go. Okay, everyone get chatting. Have a great week ahead, and we will catch you all soon.